Okay, welcome to the Excel video lesson 2, and what we're going to be covering in this lesson is actually starting an Excel worksheet, opening the workbook, labeling the parts so you know the parts of the Excel environment, and then starting on the Walk and Rock spreadsheet itself. So when you start Excel, if you don't have the icons on your desktop, it's always starts, and then here's your Microsoft Excel. And if you don't see that, you can always type in Excel here to bring up that activation link. And the thing that we need to notice is here you have a workbook open, and a workbook consists of one or more multiple sheets in your Excel document. So this is called a workbook, but each sheet is a worksheet. So the Excel workbook is actually the workbook like a notebook, and inside the workbook are sheets, which are called the worksheets. The worksheet is organized into a rectangular grid containing vertical columns and horizontal rows. The row numbering actually gives you a row number, and the columns are by letters, so they're headed by the letters. A row number on the left side of the grid is also called the row heading, and at the top are your column headings. So the intersection of a row and a column gives you a cell. So each one of these are cells, the intersection of the row and the column. So right now I am in cell I-10. If I click here, I'm in U11, and then maybe over here I'm in G35. Your name of your cell is right here in the name box. So when I click on a cell, I can see the name of the cell that I'm in, C6. And then this right here is your formula bar, which is ready for data. And the data can actually be text, it can be numeric data, or it can be a formula. So this is where you enter your data. You have your menus and ribbons on your tabs above. You have your grid, the worksheet. You can navigate from worksheet to worksheet using your navigation here. And then you also have your same zoom features in the bottom left, and your close, minimize, and maximize features in your upper right. So let's get started with the Excel document. When you click on a cell, that means it's an active cell and it's ready for data. So the active cell is ready for data. Also, we have grid lines that indicate our cells by the rows and the columns. Just remember, you have auxiliary ribbon commands when you type in a certain ribbon. So you can actually use the auxiliary ribbon command. And then your help button is right here. So if you have something that you're not sure of, you can click on the help button, type in sum. Here's a video on a sum function. Here's information on a sum function. And to get more information about the Excel itself. Okay. In your task pane, which will be on the left, you'll be able to see recovered files if that should come up. The formula bar is displayed, and you can make the formula bar larger by dragging the size handle of the formula bar. So if I can get that, I can make this larger right here of my formula bar. And then also remember, we had mini toolbars when we typed in, and of course this isn't popping up, but your mini toolbars should show up in your spreadsheet as you work. Now we talked about the quick access toolbar, which is in this upper left here. Those are the quick access tools that you can add. So we're going to start by selecting a cell. And when we select a cell, in this case E3, we're making that cell active. We can enter text in the cell, and you don't have to do this now, but we can enter text, or we can enter numeric data. into the cells. So the text and the numeric data will show you. So we're going to create a worksheet that is called Walk and Rock Music, and it's the first quarter worksheet for the MP3 sales for the Walk and Rock Music Company. And as we create this worksheet, we're going to do some auto features, autocorrect features, some auto sum, and some developing information. So when we create the worksheet, you would draw the worksheet out first, and you would design what you would want where. And that was explained in the very first video, because a number in Excel can only contain certain characters. And so we would want to make sure that we understand those characters in our Excel. So if we type in 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the plus sign, the minus sign, your parentheses, your comma, your division sign, your period, your dollar, your percent, your exponential, and some symbols are the characters that you're going to be using for actually formatting your formulas in your spreadsheet. So these are all considered numeric characters, even though these are not numeric, but they're used to calculate. And so when we talk about calculations, in your prior demo videos, you use your calculations like you would the order of operation that you've learned in your math classes, okay? So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to close this worksheet out, and we are going to open up our document worksheet. And let me just check here, Excel chapter 1. We need to copy, we need to go to our data files and copy the Excel chapter 1, copy and put it into our document folder if we have not done that already. Now I've already copied mine in there, so I just want to make sure that you copied, and you can rename your files so that it says Excel chapter 1. So you know you're working with Excel chapter 1. Okay, when we open up the Excel chapter 1, we have the Walk and Rock Music demo file, the sales, the instructions for our Learn It Online and other activities. We have a Make It Right sales book, a Pack and Away shipping, and a third quarter sales for Bicycle Shop that go with your instructions. So I want you to open up the demo file. And the demo file actually has all the information typed into it so that you don't have to do the typing yourself. So I already keyed this information and saved it for you, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to actually format this file. So just to double check, in cell B4, click on cell B4, and make sure you have the amount $66,145.15. And if that is correct, then you have the correct file open. So now what we need to do is actually format this so it looks like our final spreadsheet, okay? So we entered the remaining numbers into the file, and now we're going to do a sum function. We're going to calculate a sum. So determining the calculations are needed when we're doing Excel's sum function. We have to use a range, and a range is a series of two or more adjacent cells in a column or row. So in this case, we're going to use more than one column or row to figure out a sum. So for instance, if I wanted to add all these columns together, I'm going to put a formula here that is going to be equal, and sum is my function. And notice when I have this pop up, I'm starting to type, it's giving me suggestions, sum, and then I have to give it a range. And the range is actually from B4 and we always separate a range with a colon, to F4. And notice how this formula is in parentheses. So the correct way to write the formula is equal sum, parentheses before colon, F4, closing parentheses, and then you have to hit the enter the return key to have it accept. Now when I click on the cell G4 in my formula bar, I actually show the formula. But in the cell itself, I show the value of the formula. So we're going to use a fill handle, and that fill handle is this little square here, and we can fill down, or we're going to add a formula here, again, equals sum, parentheses, this time we want B4 colon to B8, end parentheses, hit the enter return, and we're going to fill right. So I grab that little square, which is your fill handle. Now with fills, you can only fill down, or you can fill right. You cannot fill left, you cannot fill top. So when you do a fill, it's only down or right. So now that we have our totals into our formulas, and we copied those totals over, we really need to format this spreadsheet. So before that, we're going to save our workbook. And let's go to File, Save As. Find your folder. And we're going to save this. Instead of Walk in Music Demo, we're going to put our name here. And use your full name, your first and last name. Okay, so once when the workbook is saved, we now need to start formatting the worksheet. And we will do the formatting of the worksheet in the next video.